Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. It's September 13th. What a weekend. What a weekend. Today we're going to talk about market, some technical analysis, some options. We'll talk about Gamestop, the new news, the new stuff coming out over the weekend on it, and some, TA on that and the plays we made today. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. We will go over all that. Cassandra or Michael Burry started tweeting again today. Here's our Twitter you can follow us on if you want. It's at HappyMoneyYT. Then we have a Discord too you can get on in the description. Where we share plays and ideas, and that's pretty much what we do on there. Market today really just kind of melted down. Overall SPY, I mean, opened up high and just melted down. Tomorrow's inflation numbers, 8:30 before market opens, so this looks like some preparation for that, because expectations are pretty bad, but if we meet expectations we'll probably rally because that's what the market does. If it meets expectations, even if they're expecting it to be awful, which they are, their expectations are, I think, what, 5.3, 5.4, which is awful. That's basically worse than it was before the 2008 crash. Let's see, I put a picture up. So yeah, it's like if it's going to be that bad, then we'll do good. So this was 2008 right here. Then you've got these other spikes in the 70s, the 90s, back in the 40s. So we're hardly ever really been above that line the last, I guess, generation really. So yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, if they come out at expectations, it could still sell off from that, or it could rally. It is very oversold on the hourly, the SPY, and it hasn't quite crossed. I kind of redrew this line, this support line it's made since COVID, and it really hasn't crossed it yet. So if it does start to cross that after the numbers, then we could expect a pretty big pull down, I think. Maybe down to this 422 support, and possibly on further, at least back to this 180-day moving average. See what happens when it hits that. See if it bounces or consolidates or really drops through that. Then we'll be in bearish territory. So I don't really I had actually picked up some calls this morning on it on SPY, and didn't work out. It came, if this happened, this move happened back here, I would have made money, but it's too late because they were just dailies. GameStop though, beautiful day today. I wasn't quite expecting this. TA yesterday, or on Friday rather, I figured we'd probably kind of sell off and consolidate beginning of the week, like I said, and then maybe rally towards the end of the week if this is a rollover period especially. And today beat my expectations, so I am stoked. So on the hourly it's looking good. And even last on Friday, we had 9 red candles under the 9 moving average here, but the MACD always stayed pretty bearish except for just right into close. But the momentum stayed pretty positive. But then on the daily is why I was like, I don't think so, because we crossed over bearish on Friday, and then we've got all these red under the 9. But what we do have also, the TA isn't very clear on it right now, honestly. It's pretty conflicting on different time frames, but on the daily we do have this big green candle, and then so that's a good sign anytime. So that can kind of confirm this move today a little more. And then just even this candle pattern is kind of a bullish continuation. If you have a big green, then kind of a little red that kind of stays high on the first green one, and then another big green one. This one isn't as big, but the examples of this pattern are typically this, like a big candle, small red on the top of this candle, and then another big one, maybe similar size to this, but this one's still pretty good. So I'd say we're at least consolidating and hopefully rallying based on how much we came up today. And yeah, it seems like the rollover is still on. It does from today, because I think if it wasn't, I don't think we would have had market's gonna close 1 minute. I don't think we would have had a 6.5% day, 6.7. So It seems like it's on. And does that mean we're gonna hit 350 again? I don't know. We're gonna teeter out down here like 275. Will we hit 480? I don't know. But expiration is on Friday, and it doesn't leave a whole lot of time. So this is the line for expiration. That is Friday. So I got a lot of exposure to it. I bought in during the hype, which I'm fine with on GameStop, because sometimes this hype, sometimes it'll consolidate and then it just keeps ripping. So I started getting in. I liked all the price action, but I wanted more confirmation, because this daily chart was still scaring me earlier, and it still is. I mean, we've still got bearish on the MACD. We still have everything under the 9 moving average, and that's why I say this could just be consolidation. But being that it was a pretty big rally today, and that yesterday we weren't necessarily oversold, makes me think it's more rollover that was happening today. Volume was pretty good today, nothing crazy. Let's see, we ended up with 4.2, so that's good. Yesterday was 3, and then that big rally day was 7.4. This day was 14.5 million, that big day we had back there. But yeah, on the hourly, I kind of started looking at the hourly. I'm like, well, really for daily or weekly options, it's more so the hourly that I'm trading than the daily. But yeah, I wasn't sure on it. Really, once we passed this 200 is when I was like, okay, this is really good, because we were coming up and it looked bullish, but this is kind of an ugly chart. And once we broke through that, there was a sell wall at 200, and then it kind of ripped through there. And so I did buy into some of this premium, and at one point up here, I think the contracts probably up like 100%. But I just hold them. I didn't trade them. What was it? Donero was like flipping these things like crazy, which probably works pretty well instead of diamond handing them. But wow, look at this. Is this real? Why is it still trading? That was really weird. Look at that SPY rip. Holy crap. My SPY options almost went in the money. Right into close. So yeah, I'm stoked for this week. I'm hoping it's kind of twofold. I think if they are rolling over, then that means they're kicking this can. They're rolling over. So we've got potentially another 3 months, next quarter for expirations to see what happens then. So something similar to this. That being said, with this rollover that they're doing, doesn't mean the squeeze can't start from all this price action, news, margin calls, whatever. So not necessarily a bad thing that it appears that they're rolling over, or this could not even, maybe isn't even rolling over, and maybe this is just the beginning of the squeeze. Early to tell. My options are for 350 strike. Basically, that's my price target for Friday. So we'll see what happens with those. Lots of crazy news out over the weekend, though. The float numbers on GameStop, on Yahoo are up. The float is like almost 300 million on there, and I was getting people pretty hyped. Lots of different theories on why it's so high, or why it's basically higher than it should be. I mean, I think the float's probably in the billions, but it's never been displayed that way. South Korea, let's see, number 1 most purchased stock among 20 to 29-year-olds in South Korea. I thought that was cool. Wells Fargo has halted all small business loans, confirmed by a friend of the conversation. Very interesting. Banks, I've got puts on Wells Fargo still, I think. Banks coming down, that's all good for the squeeze. Finally, entire market. So this is the big one that everyone's hyped up. Seller boxing. It's basically this article from back in 2004 that kind of lays out a lot of the theories that we've been kind of compiling. I say we, mostly just people on Reddit that put in a lot of time to that, and I read about it. But it basically compiles that and confirms it, and it goes through their whole kind of breakdown and plan on how they do it, how they bankrupt them, and how they make money with it, and yeah. And then this DD also, this is the bat. This one also talks about the Yahoo. So in Europe is where you're seeing the higher float numbers than outstanding shares, and then if you VPN it for Europe, rather, and then in US it's not. And then there's a couple different sites now that are showing it, and it's been there for 3 days now or so it is not. I mean, all these glitches, they call it. not actual glitches. It's just us kind of peering through to the man behind the curtain. I think that's kind of the way I imagine it. You're not supposed to see it, but the puppet master is back there. Sometimes you get a little glimpse. Sometimes you don't. You just see the little show they're putting on. So let's see if I can pull it up here. Knowledge cash flow, dividends, short flow percent. There it is. So float 249 million. This should never be more than shares outstanding. That's not right. So that's what everyone's going crazy about. And then it's also on other platforms as well. So different theories on that. One theory is that could just be everyone transferring, or the people that are transferring over to computer share. It's now actually showing up, or the data that Yahoo's grabbing is actually pulling it from it, or computer share is basically making it public. Data provided by Morningstar. I think Citadel or something is tied in with Morningstar. That was one thing I read. So the computer share thing's interesting. This could also be from, the other theory was that it's part of the rollover, since they didn't roll over. Now we're seeing some of it that they haven't rolled over. This could be one hedge fund. Yeah, just like one small hedge fund, I think that hasn't rolled over. Can't remember what the other theories were about this float being high. I mean, we know, or we assume it's much higher. Like I said, I assume it's probably in the billions, 3, 4, 5 billion. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that it's there and that it's sticking around. It hasn't changed. So the government could shut down in October. I think debt ceiling. So we've had government shutdowns before, and typically they don't actually move the market at all. If it is shut down for kind of a more extended period of time, it could affect the stock market. So those were the things I was reading about this week, or today and this weekend rather. Options we got. So actually you see here, I got kind of spread them out on the different accounts again. I got 240 calls. I got 6 of them on this account. Again, I bought into premium a bit, so they're down because these are down a bit. Got 6 of those on this account, and then on our E-Trade, I got 220 calls. Got a lot of these. I got 14 220 calls for Friday on this account, and then you can kind of see. So I'm getting these closer to the money, if you're noticing, than last time, and I'll show you why. But basically, it's more expensive, but my break even's much lower. So expiration. Let's see, there's profit expiration. I think it's like 250 something. Is let's see, right about here, 224. So 224 is my break even. If it's that high at expiration. I'm not planning on holding this to expiration. I'm hoping this thing rallies and I'll sell some into volatility and just go from there. They're all naked. I didn't do any spreads, so that's paying a little bit more for that. And then we've of course got these short puts we have. I had those covered calls. Remember, I opened up those covered calls on Friday because I thought it turned bearish. And I'm like, well, I think we'll probably dip for a bit and then I'll close them out. Didn't really have that dip. Sold them today. I was up on them a bit in the morning, but then I actually sold them for a small loss, which I'm super glad I did. That was long before that big rally we did. If I'd held them, yeah, ouch. Of course, could roll them up and all that, but if we're gonna start squeezing, I don't want to be stuck in covered calls. And then we also got some on here, on our TD account. On here, I picked up 240 calls. These are down quite a bit, so bought these into premium. Break even on all these are close to the strikes. Let me show you. Let's see, yeah, it's on here. So this is why I did it. The data on here is a little delayed since I don't pay for this service. I think it's I don't think it's too much though, maybe 5 minutes. So I'm expecting, here's my price target I basically put in there, 350. And again, I don't know if it's going to go that high. I don't know if it's going to go past that. I don't know what it's going to do by Friday, but chart looks bullish. We have been to 350 on a rollover, and that's basically where I'm getting it from. I could have done a spread, but I did just naked long calls just in case we go way past that. So this is equating 230 is the best. If I'm looking at max return, you can kind of just move this slider around how much you want to risk and how much you want to return. So I did max return, and then that's giving me this 230. I think it's 230 because of the amount of, that's just the most leverage you can get on the option chain. So, and I've messed with this quite a bit, but so basically if this goes up to maybe like 5,000, then it'll go higher than 230. No, see, it's still 230. So that's just showing you the amount of leverage. I'm pretty sure, and I kind of confirmed it with COG, but I'd like to maybe confirm some more. At some point it does go up in strike, I think. No, see, even for this Friday, if it was next Friday, I think it would be higher. But even for this Friday, it's still saying that 230 call is, I believe, your most amount of leverage. I might be doing this wrong. I might be not understanding this right, but that's kind of my understanding. And the way to actually physically find your leverage, and I haven't confirmed this because I haven't looked over the whole option chain, but you can actually see how much leverage each option has on the strike for that expiration. We've talked about it before. It's multiplying the delta. What is it? It's the delta times the strike price divided by the price of the contract. I believe that's what it is, and that'll tell you how much leverage that strike for that date has. So if you say this one, 0.1676 times 203 divided by, say, 212, the mid, this is going to be a little skewed right now because it's closed. That's saying 16, which seems like a lot, but I think that's the right way to do it. You can look it up, how to check leverage on options. It's basically just showing the leverage, and as you go up and down in strikes, this will number go up and down. Of course, you want a higher number, but it's not always the best to just get farthest out the money, even if these will go in the money, because you're paying more of a premium for this than it's worth than for a closer strike. And that's why I got the 230s and 240s, because this was changing actually a little bit. When it was ripping up more and the premiums were higher, this actually went up to 240. But it's kind of cool to see. So if you think it's gonna go to 10,000 next week, you can put it in and say, so these are the options I'm trying to get right here and during the squeeze. So I want a big amount of shares, but just a few of these options will be crazy. This is a 250 call. If it goes to 10,000 next week, this would be $395 it cost, and it would be worth theoretically 9.9 million. And that's at expiration, and that's without any increased volatility, which you would get if we're up to 10,000. So the IV at that point, I'm sure, would be at least 344. So anyways, that's how I'm kind of messing around with the options. We also have short options that we're selling, and that's one way we're kind of funding it, funding these long calls. I don't have a whole lot of exposure actually for this week, just because last week I thought was it and didn't see it, and this week could be it. So I have enough now. I might do some put credit spreads, but the margin requirements on Gamestop are pretty high, and there's not a whole lot of premium on the put side, so it kind of uses up a lot of capital. But we do have those short puts, which those will be good if those can expire out of the money, and then we'll just keep the premium on those, which is, it's a few thousand, so that really would basically cover our long calls, more or less. But I'll probably keep rolling those over. Yeah, these short puts, 1 here and 3 here. So yep, stoked for this week, guys. Again, this could just be hedgies pumping and dumping, honestly. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. On the hourly chart, it's looking nice, kind of a bull flag, but we're holding up above the VWAP. MACD is nice. Hourly, the RSI is not overbought. It's just a nice grind up. We made new highs, broke out of that, which is huge. Would like to see this kind of break this 210. Then after that, I mean, we've got I don't know, 216, and then probably on up to like 230. So those options I have, if we get around 230 and start to teeter, I'll probably sell some, because it's not, it's not guaranteed it'll go up to 350 if we do start rallying really quick. But that's what I got for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. See you tomorrow. Peace out.